Springsteen, obviously important to Tim Russert, and his hometown paid tribute to him last night. A candlelight vigil, appropriately enough, in Tim Russert Park. And I know
Buffalo.
that would make Tim as proud as anything. Let's bring in right now Steve Capus, the president of NBC News.
Thank you for coming in.
Morning.
You know, Steve,
really
we try to keep the show organic, and we read papers and go from there. Well, yesterday we sat there and said, how much do we talk about Tim?
What would Tim want?
We've talked too much. Have we talked too much? We've not talked enough, and we dwelled on it too much. And yet we got in here this morning, and people just wanted to talk about Tim. And you were saying before you came on, you want to hear Barnacle and Andrea and all these people tell these remarkable stories. And you saw it firsthand yesterday in the D.C. Bureau, Tim's home.
When you think about Tim, every time he was on the air, you'd reach for the remote and you'd say, Tim's on the air, something's going on. I want to hear what this guy has to say, because it was always good. It was always important. It was always insightful. And so all these clips since Friday, I just can't stop watching. And you're right. I mean, I'm sure he'd be saying, "Come on, let's go. Let's move on. Let's do something important." I can hear, But the thing is, the outpouring has been as authentic as Tim is,
Yes.
and I think he's just such an authentic American. And I think all across the country we're seeing that and hearing that, and the email and then the tributes. It's just beautiful. Our Washington Bureau is a really tight group. And in fact, NBC News is. So this is a very difficult time for everybody in the whole organization. And there's something that is wonderfully uniting in this time, because it's the only way we can help each other through this. And I'll tell you, you watched Luke Russert this morning on the Today Show, and I said to the Washington Bureau yesterday, and to Luke and Maureen, we don't know how to do this, and you're showing us how to handle all of this with such dignity and poise, and our love goes to Maureen and Luke this morning.
Well, you're talking about the D.C. Bureau. It's so striking to me that, as you know very well, being the president of a huge news organization, the news business is tough, especially now. And it can be cutthroat, and people can be going after each other. But Tim Russert somehow managed to build a family in this Washington Bureau that I would guess is unlike just about anything you have seen in the news business.
I think it's true. I think, I like to say that our facilities and our bureaus take on the persona of the towns in which they are. The London Bureau is kind of worldly. But in Washington's case, you've got all those influences in Washington. But that was really Tim's bureau. And it took on the persona of Tim. And what's striking to me is this is a guy with such a big heart who everything he did, you talk about the tough times in the business and how it's difficult and the competitive nature and things like that. Tim just takes everything and guided with his enormous compassion. That's who he is. Yeah. And he dealt with stuff and, all right, let's roll up our sleeves, let's grind it out, let's figure it out. And it was a team approach. And I'll tell you, that bureau is united in grief, but they also are united in love in a tone that's set by Tim.
I hate to date myself, but I was an intern there decades ago, and really, it's hard to imagine walking in there without him being there. But at the same time, that family atmosphere created by Tim, everybody is carrying on. The love there, oh my gosh, at that bureau, I mean, there really is a family feeling to that place. I walk in there and I feel like I'm home.
Oh, no question. Tim had enormous capacity to remember the names of everybody's kids. Yeah. He was, and one of the things that's so tough about all this is he was the first one to pick up the phone or shoot you a note when something was going on. Yeah. And I've been looking through, as we're getting ready for the memorial this week, through thousands of photographs, and Tim's family, Maureen, they've just got so many wonderful photos. Inevitably, we're Timmy's holding up a little baby, you know, like this, and their big, huge smile of Tim's, and laughter. I mean, that's the other thing that I think is helping everybody there in the Bureau is Tim's sense of humor that, you know, he brought to this desk. He loved coming and doing this show with you guys.
It's so good to us.
It's just but he did it with such a great sense of humor and compassion and an authenticity. I think the fact is he is an authentic American, and that's what guided everything.
Absolutely.
You talk about authenticity and his ability to connect with people.
Yeah.
I was amazed. You know, I was a young guy, and here's Tim Russert walking in the studio. Every time he'd stop, take a moment with me, ask me how I was doing. A word of encouragement from Tim Russert is all I needed. That gives you all the confidence in the world.
I'll tell you, Saturday morning, watching some of the coverage, that video that you just ran of Tim coming in to do this show, but you shot him as he walked in, and then that was one of the first shots that really got to me, because it wasn't, there's all these great, powerful photographs of Tim on the set and doing his craft, and there was nobody better at that. But what got me was the behind-the-scenes things, and the way he'd come up and, how you doing, you know, and kind of, you know.
Well, the minute he walks in the room lights up, and that's what you got from those shots. Like, we'd see Russert over there, and just all of a sudden, all of our heads would gravitate
It was going to be
towards-
something special.
Yeah, and you just can't help to start smiling the minute you see him, the second you see him.
Steve, we just got an email. Chris, read this email, because this is, you know, Saturday morning when we were doing the show, Pete Breen was going down the list. These are the people we had, and he said, and we have Russert. And again, everybody's in shock, and he misspoke. But you just sat there, and when he said that, I lit up, because I always knew when we had Tim on the show, so I said I could go golfing the day before.
Something good was gonna
I don't
happen.
golf, but it was a point. It was just a point that when I knew Tim was coming on the show, everything was okay. We were going to build up to it. Tim was going to do it, and then we'd talk about what he said the rest of the way. Chris, read this email, because this really is how we've been feeling all weekend.
This is from Natalie in Michigan. She says, I keep expecting Tim Russert to come on your show this morning to comment on the passing of this exceptional human being.
If it's a big story, then Tim Russert's there.
Well, but that's really the next phase of all this, Joe, is now what we need to do with all this tremendous outpouring and reflection. Is to take that spirit and put all of it against what going forward with the coverage, and we are in the midst of a monumental election season. I can't imagine the season without Tim.
Yeah.
He wasn't just the moderator of Meet the Press, he really moderated the national political dialogue as well. So we have to take all of this that we're feeling right now and channel it and learn from it, frankly, about how to handle it and how to do it right, as Tim did.
Yes, he really
And
was.
David Rimnick this morning was writing about New York Magazine, talked about how Tim was such a hard worker.
Yeah. Well, you know, but think about it. How many times would he come in here after having been on the set till 2 a.m.?
I know.
Oh, yeah.
And
I know.
he'd come in here. I never heard him complain
No, he loved
about
it.
being tired. Never.
once.
And he worked as hard as anybody, if not harder.
Yeah.
Never complained.
And always came on with a twinkle in his
Absolutely. He came to play.
That's
Came to
really,
play.
you and I don't always have a twinkle in our
yes,
eye in
you
the morning,
do.
but
Don't tell us all
Russert
that.
staying up all
doing?
night, coming in the morning, he was
speaks for himself.
always on fire. Well, Steve, thank you so much, and we thank you especially for that guidance that you provided to the NBC News family. Your family that's hurting. I think that's a great guidance we move
I
forward.
appreciate that so
Thank
much.
you.
All right,
Thanks,
for being
everybody.
with us. Steve Capus, still to come. Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick, also CNBC's Aaron Burnett, with a check on business before the bell.
This is great.